So we're discussing that the recorder is here to bring awareness that we're always being recorded. Which means that we are responsible for the actions in life. The outcome is whatever you're putting in. If you're experiencing a level of restriction, a level of something that you're not 100% present or an outcome that you don't like, that is, we didn't start yet, we're just getting present. So really, what's happening is that so this is what it is. Fine. So let's go. Let's see where it goes. I'm sorry.
Who can listen to it?
The recording. If I'm putting it, I'm going to put it. If there's any questions asked, I pause it. If you want to ask something, I'll pause it and then respond. So if you want to ask something, I'll pause it. You want to ask something?
No.
Okay. Yeah, just pause. I think everybody's here. So, just to give an opportunity to talk about it here in person, because if you listen to it sometimes on the shir and the recording, it sounds a little abstract, which is fine, and we're not really sure what we're listening to. So it's very simple. The work is to we go through all the sfurim and the books and all the stuff, and it's just complicated, but really it's not meant to be complicated. It's very simple. There was a flow. There was something called atzmas. Okay, atzmas is, just so you have an understanding a little bit what atzmas means. Something the zachaline. What that means is like you can touch an outlet. You put your finger in the outlet, get electric shock, and then you can touch one of these big wires on top, and it will suck life out immediately. And then you can go into a reactor, and a nuclear reactor, and you just don't exist anymore, like nothing is left. That's one of the ways to explain atzmas, right? It's so, we don't know, because our brains are wired to process only from a certain level. Higher than that, you stick your head out, you get zapped. Aaron Cohen's kids, Nadav and Avihu, they stuck their head out and they got zapped. But they did it, they had their cheshbonos, they did what they had to do for us to be able to do what we have to do. What happened after that is that the Eibishter tells Moshe, he's like, go tell Aaron to put Shemrim around over there, because I'm going to hold you guys responsible for anybody that gets there. You're supposed to protect the vault, and if anybody steps out of bounds, you guys are going to pay for it. So they set up Shemrim, soldiers that watch. What does that mean? That means that within our work, if we don't know where we're going, you can get zapped. It's light, it's what that looks like from a place of Acharaim, which is called the bag. It looks like we're spiritual, we're free, we're loving everything, and everything is okay, and we're just accepting everything. That's not what it's about. That's another way of getting zapped from the light, from the bottom. There's another way of getting fine. There's a structure in place. There's a structure, and there's a way to get there, and there is intention. Where we want to go. What do I want to accomplish? And Chassidus is a ladder. of how to get there, and really tell me what is it that I really want. What do I want? I mean, you go through, there are 7 Rebbeim in Chabad. Now, Chassidus is across the board. The Rechaim HaKodesh is all Chassidus. It happens to be that there's different levels in Chassidus. There's different ladders how to get. Chabad Chassidus is Chabad. It's called Chachma Bin Adas, which is is the thinking brain. That's the brain. And it happens to be that they have the most expansion. Like if you look into, everybody hears the Noam Melech, right? Friday night. What the Noam Melech would write in one paragraph, you'll have Chassidus expand on a minor and 10, 15, 20, 30 memorim expansion beyond. That every part of your body, by the time you're done, everything is stretched, and you can have a moment of experiencing oneness. What does oneness mean? What does oneness mean? Oneness is that when this thing, atzmus, that we don't know, we can't process, all of the machshava, he had a desire, is like, he's full of kindness and full of compassion and passion, and he's like, I want to share this with somebody, because if I have all this money, what do I want to do? I don't want to make a lavish wedding. I want everybody to see my wealth, for whatever it is, right? So the minute he had a desire, we're not going to get into this whole spiel, because we'll only do that later, when you guys really want to get break and crack your brains. We have, you know
what is atzmus? Atzmus is the etzem me. What is the word?
Atzmus means my etzem, my yes.
Neshama?
No, it's higher than a neshama. It's the atzmus. It's it's work to get to the atzmi, to get to my physical, and it's essence. What is my essence? There's different. Right now, my essence is that I want to be the best cook. Right now, my essence is I want to be the fastest runner. My essence is that I want to have money, or more refined. I want to know about life. I want to work on myself. But you're still working on yourself. And then there's a level of atzmi when it's like, this is it, and this is what we're learning. This is what we're here to learn, is how to be present. When we say being present, is what is present? What does it mean being present? I'm just checking out? No, I'm fully checked in. I'm fully checked in, and I'm present with where it's at, and it's work. It takes a minute to get there. Now we're jumping, but we're going to go back. Ultimately, the minute you want to tune into your essence, you're going to be distracted. You're going to get distracted. You're going to feel anxiety. You're going to feel depression. You're going to feel excitement. Or we get caught up in the work itself. I want to chap, and I start tripping on it. This is all a part of me trying to align in the etzem. So the way it looks is basically, this is us, right? And you're trying to get over here. This. Like this, and you have bases like that, but really you want to be perfectly aligned. This is where it's at. That's when you are present. Okay. Atzmi, and then from there is 4 levels. There's Atzilus, Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiya. 4 dimensions. Within these dimensions, there is different things happening. You can go through in 1 hour or in 1 minute, you can go from here to Atzilus. You're having a moment and you're fully present. You are, let's not get carried away, but it's a moment of presence that you are at the highest level of consciousness. You make a Shabbos Friday night. I know we're struggling with that. It's hard to get present. A Simcha, it's easier to get present. That's why we have all these Yom Tovim, Purim, Pesach, Shviyas, Sikkos. All these are different angles of how we're getting present. Just in case I don't know how to sit back Friday night and just be present, because how many of us, the minute Friday hits and we got close to the Shabbos and the pressure goes up, and before you know, there's absolute chaos at home. You're not talking, he's not talking, and you're out, he's out, right? It's because the energy, the oil is coming down, and we don't have the kelim. We don't have the kelim. That's why the Hasidic Sfarim are telling us, just shut up. From 2, 3 o'clock, don't talk. Just stay away, get out of the kitchen and don't talk. Ignore anything that's being said. And we're training the Chaver to do that, to be present and to get out of, because once it passes, you're fine. You just need to Some guys checked in Pesach that Seder night, a couple. It was hard. It was too much, especially once you become aware and your old demons are coming back and fighting you. You have a similar thing when you do the breath work. The breath work. I'm dizzy. I'm thirsty. My throat, my ears. I can't hear. I'm really dizzy, and my body is getting tight. It's all the ego, just coming with different ways on its own. It's a real live. It's a living organism. It's a living thing. Your problems are a living thing. That thing that happened to you was an energy, was a dark energy, and it found a way to manifest into letters, into any type of pain, betrayal, abuse, all that. The work is to, now, while we're still in it, it's very hard to tell somebody to get over it. Want to get over it? I can't. I'm possessed. I'm held by that combination. It's a lock. It's a combination. It's a safe. It's a vault, and you're held. Once you've done the work, so you become aware of where you are tight. Right? I'm tangled up. Right now, I'm an emotional ball. I'm a wreck. I can't think. I just get upset. I can't. Every time I try to connect with my husband tries to connect with me. There's resistance. At some point, we become resistant to it. So we get into it. You get into the feeling. You get into the body, and you start feeling where you're tight. Once you know where you're tight, it's easier to let go. And mostly the work that we do here is we go from top down. We don't bother from the bottom, because if you got to start figuring out, cleaning out this mess, it's years of work. Forgiving, forgetting, and then this and that, and then I don't want to forgive him. I don't want to, and then when you want to, you can't. It's holding on. It's a part of me. It's already ingrained in every part of my being. But we go from the top down, and this is how we crack the safe. You break it. Everybody's being trapped here, and something else, plastic, metal, whatever way it shows up. Once you go to the top, so how does this work? We're going to go from top down now, and then we're going to get into the Sefer. The way it works is that different dimensions. As these dimensions we're getting into the lower. It's still all. It's first in Atzilus. It's all one. It's all connected with your machshava. It's all connected to my Chabad. My thought. I'm one with my thought. There is nothing else. I'm fully present with my thought. That's Atzilus. It's all one with the intention of Creator that He wanted, but again, levels. It's we don't know Atzmi. 1 second. From there, we go into Bria, which is a little more. We can already start. There's some sort of. It's also 90% Toiv, but there's some darkness there, and then Yetzirah, and then Asiya, which is the physical world. Now, in Yetzirah, in Atzilus, there is no time, there is no space. You think you're there. In Bria, less. Yetzirah already, I believe I saw it. It will take a thought. A 5-minute thought can take 15 years, I think he says, to express it. Okay. Here in Asiya, once you fall into Malchus, which is this body is Malchus. Okay. It goes into physicality. We'll explain that in a minute. Once you fall into Malchus, it takes to get from Brooklyn to Muncie an hour and so much, and there is traffic and there is everything going on in the middle in the process. So we're bound to time and space. It's nefesh, olam, shana, shana, nefesh. It takes time. Now, what's happening is that if you work from bottom up, in order for me to get to a place of serenity and just to be peaceful, I have to organize my life. I need to have my finances have to be in place. My husband and my wife and me, myself and my kids have to be in the perfect schools and the perfect, and it's endless. By the time you're done, you're 80 years old and you haven't moved an inch. Basically it broke you. You didn't shift anything. You were just surrendered to. But once you tap in, you go from top down. You turn from Tzura, you meld the Chomer. This is Chomer, it's physical. I can't walk through this. Between me and the table, This is matter. This is a stronger matter. This is a softer matter, and then there is softer matter. But once I go in from here, I can melt and I can break the matter. How does this work? When you go into a moment of absolute connection, when you're one with yourself, Yom Tiv, or when you drink something, or whatever it is that you do to get you present, a walk, exercise, workout, once you get present, in that space, there is no resistance. You don't really experience the same resistance. When you're in a good mood, the guy that hurt and the guy that pushed, you're forgiving. It's fine. You know what? I'm good. Simcha put it together. This is a famous line in Chassidus. Simcha breaks the gedarim. It breaks everything open. And you can experience this when you make a simcha. Your enemy will show up and you will embrace him. You'll be like, thank you for coming. Once he leaves, once you get out, 2 or 3 days later, it's going to come back. But in that space, and you're going to judge yourself, saying like, I'm just weak, and I just forgive and I forget. You're not weak, you're not forgiving, you're not forgetting. You're very strong. That's the distraction of the Nachash. He's taking us out of character. Really, we want to be connected and loving and forgiving. That's who we really are. At the highest level, this is what we are. Now, there is millions and millions of separations from Atzmas until we are here. Why? Because if he turns on the heat a little bit more, it looks like Erev Shabbos. You start freaking out, it's too much. A little bit more, it looks like COVID. A little bit more, it's a nuclear war. Because it can't hold. We are going to get to a place where, right, it's my own Torah, but it's there. We're going to get to a place, it's not my own Torah, Chassidus says it, but not in these words, that a nuclear explosion can't touch you. It's that level of surrender, which, try to go there, in the physical body we can't go there, because this thing is not going anywhere. He is here. Okay? What's the purpose of this thing being here? Why is this here? It takes a dummy like this to be able to hold that level of air. It takes a rubber to hold that type of electricity. Okay? It takes an idiot that has such an ego that, I get it. Now, what comes from a higher place? Us or the table? I think I did it last time. What comes from a higher place? Us or the table?
You said always that the table is more surrender than
Correct.
us.
Correct. What's the thing? The table is not Tachlis Kavana. He didn't choose the table. He chose us. Okay. Within our bodies, the dumbest thing that we have within our body is our bones. That's Atzamas. The bones are the dumbest thing. It doesn't think, is completely. That's what processes the highest level of connection. The highest download goes into the bones, because the bone is not in the way of anything. You throw anything into fire, it's going to burn it. The bone doesn't get burned because he has complete bittul. He's a diamond almost, so he can process this high voltage. Sphere is a time that we're going from top down. Pesach, we get from the highest level, okay? The highest level, which is Moichen Da'av, which is the thought of Creator, which he sends in one drop, not more than that, because anything more, once again, we're not here. He sends in a drop, and then the day after he pulls it out. In the morning, it's taken away. Now, when you go into the pool and you come out, you're cold, right? You become aware of your body. The first night of Pesach, we get this tremendous download of consciousness. It's sweet, it's everything. We communicate with that through the matzah, and then we drink the 4 cups of wine, 2 first, and then matzah, then 2 after. So we're fully expansion. This is Chachma, and then this is Bina, father and mother. The day after it's being pulled out, what happens is it's like just stepping out of the water, and you become aware of your body. It's very cold. You become, you tighten up, tzimtzum. It's called Gevurus. So In this Gevuras, we go through a process of elimination, 49 days of becoming aware where I'm tight. Why am I cold? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 49 levels. We'll go through every midah. There is 7 middas, which is each week has a middah in it. Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes, Netzachot, Yisod, Malchus. And each middah is connected. Chesed, Shebechesed, Gevurah, Shebechesed. So it's all just combinations. You don't need to get all busy with it. You know the stuff. We're just going to put labels. Eventually you're going to get it. It becomes the language. Why do we need to know this? Because this is how he communicates with us. He doesn't communicate with us from Mata Maila, from my physical, from external, looking at myself, what I look like, but rather from inside out. Okay? So this is how we go through the 49 days. As I'm counting the Omer, I become aware of where I'm tense, and I can just relax, release, relax, release. And we make a bracha on it. There is tremendous siyata d'shmaya and high level consciousness of awareness that we can almost like get softer. Get softer. There was Kriyas Yamsov, crack the sea. What is the sea? The sea is the separation between this and what's going on over here, right? We always think that this is our existence, but my existence is not from here to here. This is the end, and it goes all the way back to the beginning of time. And it happens to be that we, as a Jewish nation, the Eden, Bnei B'chai Yisrael, we were the first thought that this thing had, that Creator had. And right here, you can tap into Atzmas, Ayidah Zachilak Elkam Imal Mamash. Our bodies are different type of bodies. Our way of thinking, nobody can think like we think. Period. They can't. It's boxy, it's rough, it's square. This thing is agile, has agility. You can figure its way out. All this like little shtick and all this. This is our consciousness. It's am chacham v'nam. We were in a capsule. We were in an incubator from all different galasim, from Paroi, Choshech, and all these things. That Choshech, there was a level of 90% of riches and negativity, and it showed up in your life in whichever way it showed up. The way it showed up is not really your focus. You're looking at it from here. This is what happened to me. You're never going to get out of it. You need to rise above it and then land again and then come in and then slowly start breaking the chomer and levenim. Start breaking the physical, and the levenim is Pari had us working with chomer and levenim, the bricks, putting up blocks. What hardens my body? The body is matter. Okay, if you take your body and you start hitting your body in different places, you're going to become more dense. It's like working out. You become more dense. You're taking in more matter. As children, we are very soft, and we get hardened. How do we get hardened? By different things that are said to you or me or us or not. I have a natural, remember something, the child comes from a place of the most, from a moment of compassion, okay, from the highest level of compassion, of a unity of two energies coming together, and from there comes the child, and he may never ever experience that again. That's why we marry our mothers. We're trying to go back home, right? I marry my father, you marry your mother. Okay? Now, this is the work of Pare. This is the work of Pare, where he keeps us, the father is stressed out for Panasa, the mother is stressed out with this, the child his matter is already starting to create from that. So now is the time to rise above it, get into what am I experiencing? Teferes Teferes, which is balance. Where am I balanced? Get into the place, find a place of softness. All you need is 1 second, 1 minute, and start expanding on that. It all starts with a drop, and then expand from that. So now, the most important thing that Chassidus is teaching us is to be grounded. The work has to happen here. You got to do it in physical. Sitting here, yes, take time and sit and just space out. It's called chavaya, which is called with something that my Chavrusa, my Rebbe taught me. It took me a long time to understand. It's like in Israel they live. Here we make a living. In Israel they live. You know the expression. Here we work, we run, but over there they live. They're present in their own way. But this is the work about being present. This is the space that we're creating here. Is a time for just to get into yourself, find that the atzmi, your matter, without any cheshbonos. We're going to a place that is lifnei havai. It's higher, it's above than any type of expression. We're not expressing it, nothing. Just find the space of inner peace. Disconnecting yourself, everything is fine. You can release thoughts. My son, my child will be in the school he needs to be. Everything is going to be fine. Start holding space, creating, become a generator. Become a generator, a detector, a radar, a satellite dish that just starts emanating positivity. The way you represent yourself, the Wegen Mistalzer, that's how we receive. It's a famous line, and every year it drills, and I understand it in a different way. We have a lot of these. The way you're by the Seder, that's how your year is going to be. The way you are Shabbos Bereishis, this is something in Chabad we do this. We have all days that there's a reason to say L'chaim and be present and stolze chavek. Thank God for that. Otherwise, life is very boring and depressing. Not the drinking part, the presence part.
Only way to get present from drinking.
It's recorded. Yes. What? I'm sorry. The only way to get present is to drink. No. Drinking is a vehicle it's a tool to get to know that it's possible, to find the possibility. Okay? To find the possibility. But drinking or any type of antidepressant, drinking or whatever. Anything else but taking that clipper that's going to pull you down in that, definitely. Definitely that. Definitely something that is something natural and something, and like everything else, it's the way it's delivered, it's the way it's represented. If we understand responsibly what it is and how to deal with it, then that's what it is. We can turn anything can become toxic. Workout can also become an addiction.
Meditation. Meditation.
It depends. Okay, meditation, good. What's meditation? Is meditation, okay, me sitting and meditating on the letter, meditating on stopping my thoughts? That's garbage. I never got anywhere with it. But when I started sitting in my car and being mindful, or taking a shower, being mindful, sitting on the couch, being mindful, having a drink mindfully, or just sitting and just being mindful and being okay, that's meditation. Going out to eat with my wife, it's fine if you're on the phone, just be mindful of it. I'm doing this, now I'm doing this, whatever it is, we can, a lot of, it puts a lot of stress. I'm going to go out, I don't really have what to talk about, so now I'm taking the phone, and it's, okay, just let's be mindful that we're going to check the phones, and, just get, as long as it's mindful, that's meditation. That's meditation. And then from that place, you want to start meditating on different inyanim. Meditate on Pesach. What's Pesach? Meditate on the letters Tavshi and Pei Beis. The texture, the color of the words, the feel of it, talking about it is a meditation. Anything we do is going to the Schwitz is a meditation. Anything you do mindfully is a meditation.
Nature.
Yeah, that is the backboard of meditation. But we started off with, yes, good. Let's go back from where we started. We started off with that everything that is not is here to show me the yes. Okay? So that's what we started off with, that the recorder is here to bring mindfulness that we're always being recorded. Okay? Always being recorded is that you are responsible for your own actions, and anything and everything you say is not going to be held against you in a court of law, is going to be your reality. So be mindful and feel feel that. I want to say one more thing before we go back to this, elaborate on that. Sfira. We start off Pesach over here, okay? We eliminate, becoming aware, a process of elimination, and we end up, Shavuos, we end up in the same place where we started. Okay, we end up in Keser. We receive from Keser and Pesach night, and Shavuos, once again, we end up in the same place. The only difference is that now you own it. You worked for it. You already know what it feels like. Now, how real is this Pesach night thing that we're receiving, this download? How real is that? Look at yourself. I was working with somebody this week, and he told me, let's allow ourselves to go to a place, things that you imagined, and where you're at right now, how they manifested, where you are, how it happened, and it just gave me the permission, because the imagination, we shut the imagination down. All of us have been damaged like that. The imagination is shut down. I think the young kids already, they're good, but we're still like this, kacha kacha. So once you start, you're able to expand. Look where you were last year Pesach and where you are this year Pesach. Now, if that means you're talking this talk, being open to this conversation, this is an expansion that did not exist 2 years ago or 3. I don't know how long you've been doing this for. Having new expectations in your marriage. That is a download of consciousness that when your head is over here, when you're grinding and you're barely getting by, that thought never entered your head. All you were just is one big noise, one big pain in your head. Like Pari was drilling you like this, and somebody has like that, and somebody has over here. How's it? That is a down. That is being touched by this light. That's Etzba Elokim and then some, Atzmas. Because only that type of light can melt away the chaymer, can melt away this grip that he has. Because, in order to melt the rubber that holds the wire, it's a stronger light. So we're held not just in rubber, you're held in bricks. It's rough, it's tough, I need to. It's very hard matter. Very hard matter. Now, the only thing that can crack this is something that comes from a place that is from a much higher place. So that's how real this is. This download is from Pesach. And then we go through the sphere, and then comes Shuv. We go back. I'll do it tomorrow by the men's shir, because I think it's maybe even next week. It's a topic that I have to get into. Fine. It's a level of permission. So slowly. So Shavuos. Then from there we go into Sukkos. Once again, Sukkot is Pesach. We get the download and we walk around. Sukkot is that we are going into, in another incubator, a different type, Binim de Makifim. We go into a processor that is, our whole body is being, from outside, being surrounded, and we're starting to vibrate this type of energy. It's the energy of Sukkot. That's meditation. Meditate the difference between Pesach and Sukkot. Like, let's just see, Pesach is kind of like, let's go like that, yellowish. Sukkot is more green, right? The leaves, the sukkah, the estrigan, the lulav. What else you have there? I don't know. I don't have a kashruz. You can do it pink. I don't know. We'll see what comes up. I think it could be pink. It's where the kalas, where the brides. He's the chassan. That's meditation. Get into it, and the feminine naturally has it because you're there. You're the receiver, so you're naturally there. You don't need to do much to be. There's just the snake has different ways of distracting you, to getting you out of your flow. So you can be miles away from where you need to be, not because you need to learn how to do this. You just need to learn how to undo yourself, to just become. In the process, you're triggered. Your different things that you hear trigger your your knowledge that there is the atzmas, the ball of light is inside. It just needs to be touched. It needs to be touched in different ways. Triggered, yes, no, release, take in, learn. But you're not going to learn. You're not learning from here. You're not learning from trying to get the content. You don't want to get the content. You want to feel the content. Just let it do it. And I always say this about this year. If you don't understand, that's fine. Just listen. Just tune into what's happening. Where are you at right now? Are you stressed right now? Are you relaxed? What's the energy that you're experiencing? Are you threatened? Do you feel? What do you feel? Tune into that, and this is how we link up. This is the new way of learning. This is the high voltage computers that are waking up. You don't need to, in physical Welt, it's how many Blatt Gemura do I know? How much it's like Gitchtikel Gemuras, so good. We're not into that. We becoming one with the Torah. That's what Chassidus is teaching us. Atzmi, make it yours. Become the Torah. Become what you talk. Become what you learn. That's the meditation. That's the meditation. And really is that you want to tune into yourself. You want to tune into the feeling. You want to tune into to where you're at, and then go with that. Bring that home. And it's the same spiel that we did with the challah. In other words, you start seeing where you're getting closed off. What's my trigger to take me out from that flow? What's the trigger that takes me out from that space? And you don't need to figure out. You're going to find the words after. Then comes the letters. So first you go from here. You go from the top down. And this is how you expand. And this is how you break the chomer and the levanim. Yeah, we're clear? Or we do it again? I feel it. I feel it first. I'm feeling it. Let's call that Atzilus. Okay, I may get a beating for this over the back in Kronitz, but we're going to go with it. So let's call this Atzilus. And then from there, I'm feeling it. I'm staying present with it. You can meditate on it.
The Atzilus is a thought?
Atzilus is where I'm one with it.
Whatever it is.
I'm feeling great. I don't know if I'm going to start thinking right now about me coming home, dealing with my kids and my wife and my work, and this feeling. How do I bring it in? How do I make it? You're already bringing it down. First own the feeling. Allow yourself to breathe into that. Expand on the feeling. Let that spread in. Let it take you over as much as you can today. Okay, that's the small aleph. You don't need the whole thing. You just need one moment of clarity, and that cracks everything. One moment of clarity. Feel it, and then you start, and then you walk out from here. That's why it's important not to get distracted in conversations. Remember, it's a workshop. Stay with it. You want to create a safe space where it's totally fine not to say anything. We don't need to right away. We can just sit and watch how quick somebody wants to break the silence because it just gets uncomfortable. Maybe he is, maybe I should say she's waiting, I'm waiting to say something. Just be present, and this is what we're practicing. This is what we're doing by the Fabranians, by the creating a community that I can just be present. I don't need to go to a wedding and talk and make noise. The guy just spent all that money for you to listen to him. Just listen to him, right? Just be present with it. So expanding that, owning it, walking with it, and then from that place, if somebody comes home, the child, then right away, okay, now you see where this is coming from. You see where the spin starts, because if you don't pay attention, 45 minutes later, an hour later, you're screaming already. Right? And the other child comes home, and there's a whole confusion. Then the husband comes home, the biggest baby comes home, and he's like, what, who, and we, and I want your help, not help. Present, stay with it, and observe. Watch where the triggers come up, and automatically, if you're holding the space from this place, you're eliminating room. There is no space for low frequency to come in, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. In other words, you're not going to talk about by your father's table, sports, right? I know there's no sports where we come from, so there's no sports talk about football Shabbos before he sings Chai Hashem. Try that. You don't even enter your head, right? Don't even enter your mind. So too, there's no room in this relationship for screaming, for noise, because we're just not holding space for that. We're just being very present. How many of us go on vacation that we waited so long and it just hell breaks loose?
Question is like this: if you stay present and he stays present, let's say it gets uncomfortable, right? So then what ends up happening is you just feel each other's feelings very strongly, and then it becomes very like just taking the other person's feeling very strongly. So automatically you're also not present again.
So, okay, so the Wort is Azoi. I hear what you're saying. That is your lack of you're uncomfortable with being, because as you want to get, okay, so let's go like this. Let's go, and I definitely want to do still, we have till like 10 to 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? 2 o'clock? I just have to be 2 o'clock somewhere else. Alright. Traffic. I took a route that should have taken me shorter, but Jackie Robinson, this truck stopped, and I was like going for 15 minutes, eating up my time. But it wasn't. I was present. I wasn't. It was annoying. So, okay. So the way it works is like this. My midas, my attributes, my feelings are dialed in already. They're all dialed in. In perfect alignment, they're all dialed into 0, 0. They're all open, and I'm fully, whatever that means. But since childhood, imagine you have 10 dials, Chesed, Gevura, Teferes, Netzach, all that, and they're all played with. Everybody, the teacher turned this way, father turned this way, mother that way, the principal was going, everybody will have access to your computer. Okay, fine. Now, getting married, and 2 people that are communicating from space, and from here, okay. So the minute there is some manicha, so let's say from 1 to 10. 10 is perfect flow, and let's do that because I did 0 is open. So 10 is the biggest confusion, the most noise, and 0 is where I'm perfectly aligned. But if I'm dialed in at number 5, the minute my temperature drops, let's say my level of tolerance of manicha is number 5. And 4 is too calm for me. It's too quiet. How many people we need to live in the city. I need the noise. Okay. We're looking for problems. The minute it drops to 4, I start acting up. My body can't deal with it. It's too much. I had, sometimes by the sheer different things we do, breathing, how many freak out, right? They can't deal with it. It's too much. The ego is, I don't know how to deal with it. You got to hold space for that. We have sitting in silence, Vipassana and all that. People that go through the process say it's the most brutal thing they've ever experienced. Sitting quiet and everything. That's when you have to face yourself there. It's not this, it's not that, it's not much. It's me. My body is, my midas are acting up. It's jumping. I can't deal with it. And everybody has different jumpers. Okay, so when you're with your husband and you're not picking up, and you're picking up yourself. While there is noise and you guys are in communication, you don't have to go that deep. You're keeping it at number 5. So we can stay at number 5, or we can push and keep pushing and keep pushing. And this is why, instead of pushing and breaking, we don't want to break. Chassidus is not about breaking. The Baal Shem Tov wasn't about. It's all about sweet, soft, slowly. Because really, the trick is, as it goes slowly, you don't need 10 years. You're right there. I'm good where I'm at. I don't have a quota that I need to meet. I need to accomplish this. I'm present. And that's just getting in touch with the inner self. That's where it's at. And we're talking, but as the questions come in, we'll get into it and more custom tailor it. So now, what's going on? Where is this resistance coming from? Okay, where is this? What's the whole spiel over there? Okay, so that's why we have something called Likutei Moharan Tanye. This is a sefer that the Alter Rebbe wrote. The Alter Rebbe was the first Lubavitcher Rebbe. Now, this is not a Chassidus. Don't look at it that way. I wasn't born and raised in Chabad. I come from Williamsburg. So the Vart is Azari. So he was the Maggid had many Talmidim, and the youngest Talmud was the Alter Rebbe. And when they did his Taharas, it's a story. It's one of the things. I'm not a big storyteller because I wasn't incubated in Chabad. I had other things to do. I was surviving. I had to deal with Parshas Mishpatim. There's different, more important things to do. Everyone, the Rebbe Melech and all them, everybody took a different body part to do the Tahara. When it came to the head, it was the Alter Rebbe's. He was the youngest, exactly who was Rebbe, I think. He asked him to. He had to do the Tahara for the head, and he walked up and he said that the Rebbe was going to do the Tahara himself. Okay, and he stood up and he toiled and he went back, and this is the story of the Maggid. Okay. Now, he had he brought this thing. He cracked it wide open. I mean, this is connected with Reb Shimon, which we're getting into like Boimer. Zerat Hashem, we'll have a Fabring and we'll do something nice. To get into the night. His Talmidim came with questions and they asked him about this avodah. It's a workshop. How do I align myself? How do I come into to this alignment and to live in this Tachas Kamfi Shchina, Anana Yaakov, Man? All this stuff is available for us now. So he made the Sefer and he had very strict rules. It wasn't allowed to be printed. There's that every word of the year was measured, every ois, and there's levels and levels and levels of this. This is basically everything you know. The whole enlightenment, the movement started from the Baal Shem Tov, but this is it. Everything you know, everything is here. My facilitations, I would say, not most. I started off with learning it here, but I find it all here. I find it in Lekut Torah, I find it in the Chassidish Farm. Now that I know the stuff, it's all here. They tell us exactly what to do. To scream at the guy you're facilitating, beat him up physically, hug him, kick him. Everything is here. And they give us the codes of everything. Now, literally codes of how to open the safe, how to open it up. Any type of resistance and negativity you are experiencing, you're trapped. You're being held by Klippa, by the other side. Nothing to be afraid of. The biggest antidote to that is Simcha. Turn on music, and when you listen to it, or whatever cooking, clean, whatever gives you your freedom, if you're mindful, get out, and you may never go back again. One more important thing: how to ground this. Okay. Because this is the Alavis, how I started with the first check-in with those Chaver, the first round. So, if you're feeling if you're feeling present throughout the day, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and you're feeling excited, you feel compassion, you feel connection. Don't wait till 6 o'clock to share this with your husband. Don't wait to send them a voice note, thinking of you. That's it, done. Because 20 minutes later, you may start spinning. Your mother calls you and you're out of flow. Okay? So you start planting, and I tell them the same thing. This is why we're doing this from both sides, because you want to see this magical. Imagine you have, two people, like you come home and you're mindful, you know what's going on. Your husband goes to Uman and you know what to expect when he comes home. You can meet him immediately, like where he's at, instead of you left me with the kids. I'm not, but right away, so many of us have experiences, and then you come home and it's not aligned, and the experience is ruined, and then everybody gives up. It's not possible. We can never get out of this. Possible? Mindfulness. You feel something, plant it. What happens is that 6 hours later, you may have forgotten about it, and now your husband comes home, and he still remembers the text you sent him, and he meets you from that place, and you have no choice. You can't just meet him. You have to. So once you do that, literally. Which reminds me again, I got sidetracked with that. Not sidetracked, we went off on a little hike. Once you do that, you're automatically changing your fibers. Everything switches. You can't be angry and smile. Once you smile and you start internalizing that, it changes the cells, everything changes. Okay? So you're forced to now, you planted that seed and now it comes back. Okay? The Weg bestellt sich weg, that's how it is. They say that what that means is that we are satellite dishes. Okay? You're a dish. There's constant flashes. Tzelem Elikim. We'll do that some other time. But if I bring us, it's more, we'll do it as a meditation so we can really experience it. There's a tzelem, there's a flash. There's constant flashes coming down. The way you receive the flash, that's how you are being chomer. That's how you're being sealed. Okay? If I meet you and you meet me like a good morning, we're gonna be remembered like this. Okay, guy's just an angry guy. But if you meet somebody friendly, that's how you remember it. And when you do that, then you start flashing each other. Now this goes from internal inside also. If you become a part of the work, and this is the meditation, you want to make it atzmi in your bones. I'm feeling good. Meet as many people as you can from this place. You don't have to say much. Just be present with it. Just be present from that place and start spreading this. Start infecting as many as you can, and as soon as you can. Okay. So the way you are receiving, the way you are posing, that's how you're getting flash, and that's how you're going to be able to give that over. And this is how we start. One mitzvah geredes mitzvah. This, that, and the next time you meet that person, you have no choice. You have to show up from the same place because he remembers you this way. So he comes already at you this way. You walk into a store. It's the way. How many of us listen to a song while you were sad, and then you can never listen to that song again. Okay, so it's sealed. So be careful what you listen to when you go to a sad place, because you may ruin that for yourself. Okay.
It's just the judgment. I think sometimes I have that. It's just the judgment. It's like I can hear it again with a new.
Yeah. Oh, good. Sure. Of course. Go deeper. Yeah. I'm just saying it's for the Hama and Am. Okay. Now, so the Alter Rebbe is basically telling us over here there are two beings in each body. There is the Nefesh Elokis and the Nefesh Bahamas. Okay? When you are in the middle of davening, and all of a sudden a thought comes into your head, a negative thought, the way we were trained, the way we were told is that you're just a bad person. Why are you even davening? Don't waste your time. If you said a nivel peh, then for 40 days your tefillas are not being miskabel, they're not going to listen to your tefillas, and if you're as tmimizdik as each and every one of us over here, then you will be torn. Like if I daven, I'm giving koyach to the other side, and if I don't daven, my teacher is going to hit me. So what do? So we grow up. We from onset we live in this conflict, and it's brutal. Okay, tells us the Alter Rebbe comes and he says no. There's two sides to you. There is your little devil over there, the Nefesh Bahamas, that just wants to eat, drink, and jealousy and all that, and that's his existence. And then there's a Nefesh Elokis, which is beauty, white, loving, compassion, and this is on the right side. The left side of the heart is the Nefesh Bahamas, that's where the blood, and he resides in the blood. It starts all in Malchus. And on the right side is my kind side, my good side, which is my positive flow. Now, if you are in the middle of davening and a thought comes in, it tells us the Alter Rebbe, like, don't worry about it. It means that you're doing a good job. You just hit a nerve, and he's reacting because as you're raising your right side, the consciousness, he gets weak. Because there comes a neufel, right? Esav and Yaakov, there comes a neufel. Esav, Yaakov. So as you're starting to raise, he starts fighting back. So you have to, don't get sucked into his game, stay present. That's fine. I had a thought. That's sweet, cute, next. And this is the work of all of us, which is called Beinoni. There's a tzaddik, there's a Beinoni, and then there's a Rasha. There's a tzaddik v'toivloi. This is a tzaddik yisod olam. This is a tzaddik that's good to the core. We're going to talk about that. There's a tzaddik v'raloi. There's a tzaddik that is... There's different ways of explaining it. He's a righteous man, he's a righteous person, but he still... The explanation I saw it in is like that he deals with other people's, he takes on other people's, he cleans, he's a filter, and it comes and he has to battle with that. But he's a tzaddik, he has the hulk up, he has the koich, he's above, but he's dealing with it. Then there's the Beinani. The Beinani is dealing, it's a part of us, the bad and the good. There's both within, and it's a battle. So when you go crazy, understand it's the other side just dominating, but we are learning how to deal with it, because now I don't look at it any longer that it's a part. I don't let it mix into the soup. When I have when there's something, I'm taking over. Somebody said something and I'm triggered. I feel it and I want to go all out. Start looking at it like the soup that has too much salt. You're not going to go crazy. You're just going to add water or put more vegetables in, something to draw the salt out. The same way, this is how we're starting to live life. Everything is energy. Everything is, if I'm upset, if I'm angry, I know I'm dealing with a lot of divorce here. I need to sweeten this deal over here. How can I make this sweet? I'm either going to smile, I'm going to put on music, I'm going to say a good word, I'm going to put a nickel into the pishka, I'm going to eat something sweet. Literally eat something sweet. Get connected with what you're eating, become one with it, and that will bring you sweetness. Okay, so let's go inside. So the plan is that I think we're going to do a few fundamental program from the Tanye. We have a few more minutes. Not today. I mean, throughout the course. If it feels okay, if it feels good, we're going to continue with that. If not, we can switch. We can get into different memorim, different topics, different things. So that's that. You guys are ready? All right. Tana besof peri gimel dinne de mashbim mois en tit tzadik ve alti rasha afilu kol kula emloch tzadik at yeben hayben ech rasha wat tzarach lahaven. So in other words, when a person is born, they make you swear that you're going to be a tzaddik and you're not going to be a rasha. You're going to be a righteous person. Now let's first understand what a tzaddik is. A tzaddik is not a guy, a man, a person sitting by the table with his eyes closed and giving out shrine. That's not a tzaddik. That's a rebbe. I hope he's a tzaddik. But a tzaddik is a righteous person, somebody that is looking for everything to be correct, checks himself. We're not tzaddikim, but v'amach kulam tzaddikim. We have it within us. We're heading there. You have no choice. You have to go there. Okay, it's perfectly alignment. You should, even if everybody tells you you're a tzaddik, you should look at yourself as a rasha. Why? Because your ego is going to get the better of you. In other words, you're gonna. Now the question is, if I look at myself as not a righteous person, as an evil person, then I'm sad. I'm miserable. And if I look at myself as a tzaddik, then my ego is going to get the better of me. So what is it? There's 5 elements. There's 5 sets, 5 different beings. Tzaddik v'tovloi, tzaddik v'raloi, rasha v'tovloi, rasha v'raloi, and beinani. Okay, so the tzaddik he is more positive than negative, so he can easily, first of all, not easily, let me go further with this. A tzaddik's body, his guf is different. He has a different type of body. Right? The tzaddikim, all the stories, the Rebbe didn't sleep from Sukkah, they're not living in our world. They're different. Their bodies are more translucent. Their neshama is fully fully saturated in their body. They're a perfect through and through. It's alma deskasi, alma desgali. It's like dipping the napkin in the water. It's just one with it. That is the tzaddik. So he easily, when a tzaddik looks at the person, he sees right through. Right? How did the Rebbe remember me? He knew me. That's like he sees it. Right? When they say this, he wasn't working off a memory. They saw the whole map. Imagine you have a child that comes from a kav, from a seed that is his father was a tzaddik, and these are tzaddikim. and he's incubated. He never had no news, no TV, no garbage, protected. They make sure that he eats only high conscience food, proper schitte, or no low frequency food. What do you think he's thinking? What do you think is going on in his head? He's wired differently. So automatically, when you look at the moon, when we look at the moon, and he looks at the moon, he sees something completely else. Everything he sees another combination of elokus. So that's the tzaddik, right? But we are in a body of the snake, and our job is that, and therefore we can experience higher levels of revelations than a tzaddik. Yeah, we can experience godliness in a glass of wine. You can experience godliness in washing your dishes. The tzaddik, he's locked up in his room. He's vibing. He's sending out shefa to all of us, but his level of Eibishter, as we call it, is black and white, and ours is full color, and that's tachlis hakavana. He wanted to be experienced in the sandwich, in our work, when I'm going out with my wife or with my husband, when I interact with my kids going to the park. He wants to be, if you bring mindfulness in that, you just flowing, because once you realize that, once you connect to your etzem, to your atzmi, and you understand that it's all one, and that's why it's called Yechida for infants, it's about oneness, and that's where we're heading. It makes no difference where you're at. You don't need to finish anything to be anywhere else. You have to be present with it. And the next thing is that, let's put it this way, and we'll finish with that. You don't have to sign up to, it's not like, am I giving up my life, this way of being, to become this? You're not giving up nothing. It's a moving train. It's happening. It's happening, and it keeps opening, expanding, cleaning, cleansing. The darkness is being exposed. Every time the lies are being exposed, it's like that tight muscle that you become aware of. Right here, open this up. So you start seeing it. They start seeing the lie, and as you see the lie, you're able to clean yourself. How? Once again, sphere, going in to my panini, going into my light, and from that place of Pesach and peace, look at the news and watch the garbage. Watch the garbage and see it for what it is. That they always come up with a new spin. It's like there's always something. It's amazing how perfectly aligned it is. Like the minute, before COVID, there was bombs going off everywhere. COVID comes, there's no terrorists. This guy that doesn't mind Israel anymore, and the Taliban doesn't care about the Western modern society, and nobody cares about nothing. Mitamol, everybody, we're done with this. Now Ukraine is exploding, and then you have Israel. The terrorists once again can't tolerate the Jew on his border. I don't know where was he for the last 2.5 years. I didn't hear from him. He was totally fine with it. So there's always something. There's always something going to go on. Now, it's not calculated. They don't have moichin. They have no choice. Don't think of it like they're not sitting in a room figuring out what comes next. It's happening automatically. They have no choice. They have no bechira. The only thing that has bechira, so let's put it this way. All the consciousness, all the worlds, all the oiras and all the energies, everything is with a mission. It's coming. The only place that it actually makes a difference, which is called the Yesh Ma'ayin, is in Malchus, where it starts becoming physical, which is the end of the cake. The top of the cake has the crust, which is us, our creation, Olam Asiyah. Within our creation, Olam Asiyah, nobody has the key to open the door to make change. The only creation that has the power to make change is us. The Yidden. I'm just ignorant. I believe what they say. I know what the other guy says too. I've been there, but we have the key. It's called Das. It's Kashrus. We have the key to make change. So everything that's happening in the world, anything that you feel fear, is just there. It's the no to trigger the yes. It's the no to trigger the yes. The fear that you have is for you to recognize, because ultimately it starts shrinking. It gets closer and closer and closer, and there's two choices. You can get swallowed up within it. Those are the fifth that state of Mitzrayim. Or you can rise above it and say, okay, until it's not knocking on my door, I have nothing to worry about. I have to be responsible, or I'm not going to give up any sleep over it. And even when it's knocking on my door, then I guess I'll have to peel another layer. I'll deal with it then. There's nothing, it's Eishrei Chelos, it comes, and it's all sweet. And the tzaddikim said it's going to be with Chesed V'Rachamim, and there's nothing to worry about. They got it covered, they've done everything. When you start learning this stuff, you realize the wisdom that our tzaddikim had. I mean, this is a full-on facilitation, and you're talking about little Tzibrach and Yidluch sitting in a room at the end of Siberia over there and telling you how to outsmart the snake, how to outsmart your trap, how to get out of it, how to unlock the doors. So they had it figured out. Right? There's nothing. Shalashidus, Malavamalka, they have it all figured out. So all you got to do is tap into the Pnimi, to the inside, and understand that whatever is happening has no das. It's happening by default, by design, in order for you to find your yes.